Has Salah accepted a £50 million offer from a Turkish giant? PSG set to sign a Real Madrid star for £85 million. Barça have found Lewandowski's replacement, and he's at Chelsea. And is Arteta coming for Güler? All this and much more in today's episode. Before we get into the news, do me a quick favor and hit that like button. It's the single most important thing you can do to help this channel grow and keep these videos coming. Done? Let's dive straight in. Manchester City aren't waiting for a summer crisis to hit. They're moving right now to tie down Rodri. According to Matteo Moretto, both sides are already in the final stretch, with a new deal being put together as we speak. The logic from the City hierarchy is brutally simple. Letting the best holding midfielder on the planet run down to his last year? That's not a mistake. That's professional suicide. Real Madrid are already warming up in the background, waiting for the slightest crack in those negotiations. And in Manchester, they know it. For Pep Guardiola, losing this man is like pulling the foundations out from under a skyscraper. Without Rodri, the whole City structure starts swaying, even in routine matches. Because Rodri isn't about power or pace, he's about rhythm, total control, and this almost uncanny ability to put out fires before the smoke even appears. Yes, there have been groin issues. Yes, the injury risk climbs with every extra season of this workload. But City know how to run the numbers. Finding and bedding in a proper replacement would cost them far more than any wage demand Rodri could realistically throw at them. A move to Madrid would make sense for the player. A homecoming finale, a final chapter on home soil, especially when the trophy cabinet in England is already bending under the weight. But while Florentino Perez is still hesitating over a formal offer, the Abu Dhabi operation is quietly closing the window. Get those signatures done in the next few weeks, and Real are left standing on the outside, watching someone else's asset. Madrid's admiration for Rodri is fast becoming one-sided adoration, simply because Manchester's cold pragmatism has, once again, outsmarted the romance of the royal club. The Real Madrid dressing room has officially become a war zone. While the Bernabeu counts the damage from its own civil war, PSG have already got the checkbook out. According to AS, the Parisians are looking to exploit the shocking brawl between Federico Valverde and Aurélien Tchouameni as a lever for the most audacious transfer of the year. The fact that Fede ended up in hospital after the bust-up, and then in the accounts office paying a €500,000 fine, has cracked open a window for Al Khalifi that looked completely sealed just a month ago. For PSG, this isn't just a signing. It's a chance to rip the heart out of a direct rival for €100 million. Valverde has always been the cement holding that side together, a man who'd play absolutely anywhere and give everything doing it. Turns out even he has a breaking point. And PSG understand exactly what's happening. Madrid are in the middle of a perfect storm right now. If the Uruguayan starts to feel the club isn't in his corner, Manchester City won't be slow to join the feeding frenzy either. The whole thing is frankly absurd. A player who was supposed to inherit Carvajal's armband has suddenly become a toxic asset, one whose market value now depends less on his performances and more on how good the club's security team is. Florentino Perez needs to change the culture urgently, and the rumors about Jose Mourinho returning to the Bernabeu have the feel of someone calling in an exorcist for a plague-ridden building. And look, I've been thinking, maybe I should hire Mourinho myself to come round and sort out those of you who watch every single video but somehow can't find the like button. Picture it. The special one kicks your door in and demands a thumbs up for tactical discipline. Don't let it come to that. Press like now before Jose comes for you. The Portuguese will either need to build a new hierarchy with Valverde at its core, or cash in the asset before the dressing room burns to the ground completely. 27 years old is peak selling age, and Madrid desperately need to balance the books ahead of a major squad overhaul. Valverde's loyalty to Madrid is being pushed to its absolute limit right now. It's hard to pledge allegiance to a badge when your own teammate is the one putting you in a hospital bed. Looks like untouchable status runs out. Right at the moment, the first serious right hook lands, and a 9-figure offer lands on the table alongside it. Barcelona are bracing for a full changing of the guard. Robert Lewandowski is packing his bags for Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia, The Pole walks out the door for free, lured by an astronomical wage in the desert, leaving Barca with a gaping hole up front and, at least, a suddenly lighter wage bill. Sources at Globo confirm it. Deco's #1 target is João Pedro from Chelsea. The sporting director wants this deal wrapped up before the World Cup kicks off, before the hype drives that already eye-watering price tag even higher. The situation for Barca looks completely stuck. Chelsea have slapped a €100 million asking price on him, and they mean it. The Londoners know exactly what their #9 is worth. He's been carrying their attack single-handedly this season. 23 goals, 9 assists. A contract running until 2033 gives Todd Boehly every reason to cynically ignore any attempt at negotiation. And for Barcelona, Pedro is the perfect fit. He doesn't just finish chances, he conjures them from nothing, but spending 9 figures on a striker while getting absolutely nothing for Lewandowski walking out, that's financial masochism of the highest order. Barcelona's one card to play here is simple. Chelsea aren't in the Champions League. João Pedro has outgrown the endless London rebuild, and he's clearly got no appetite for watching European football on the telly. Deco plans to use those ambitions as a lever, pushing Chelsea towards a more flexible payment structure. In Catalonia, they believe the pull of the Champions League and the chance to be Lewandowski's heir will outweigh the security of an English contract. Letting your best striker walk for free, then immediately plunging into €100 million debt to replace him, that's Barcelona's elegant little way of reminding the world that logic has never really been welcome at this club. Arsenal have well and truly moved past plucky contenders. They're in full predator mode now. The target, Arda Güler, for €90 million. Caught offside report that London are preparing a historic investment, one that would make the 21-year-old Turk the most expensive footballer his nation has ever produced. Arteta doesn't just want cover for Odegaard. He wants a deputy with an identical football IQ, someone who can hold down that number 10 role for the next decade. Güler has a rare, almost frightening gift. He reads the direction of an attack before defenders have even sensed the danger. But the risks here are baked into every clause of this potential deal, spending the best part of €100 million on a talent who'll initially be warming the bench behind his captain, that's either cold, calculated long-term thinking or a straight-up gamble. At Madrid, Güler is stuck. He's outgrown the squad player role, but the queue for the Real first team is longer than any transfer wishlist in world football, and the possible arrival of Jose Mourinho at the Bernabeu this summer only makes things worse for him. The Special One's methods are well known. He builds disciplined battalions, not art galleries. Güler's delicate, graceful style risks getting absolutely suffocated in that pragmatic concrete. His camp understands the reality. Players of this quality rarely move on willingly unless they feel their path forward is completely blocked. For Arsenal, the window is wide open right now. If the Gunners finish the season as champions of both England and Europe, their project stops being exciting and officially joins the list of the continent's elite. Madrid don't want to sell, but the Mourinho factor and $90 million in cash on the table will make the real hierarchy significantly more flexible. The agents are already rubbing their hands together. The commission on a deal this size tends to set up several generations of a family quite comfortably. The money here isn't just a transfer fee, it's a statement, a way of telling Güler exactly how much he matters in Arsenal's new order. This is one enormous bet that his personal ambition will prove stronger than the pull of Real Madrid's white shirt. Mohamed Salah has officially said yes to Fenerbahce. According to a Spor, the Egyptian has already agreed the terms of a deal that will turn his final chapter into the most expensive golden goodbye in Turkish football history. The Turks have put €60 million over 3 years on the table, $20 million a season, roughly £333,000 a week. At Liverpool, Mo's been on 400, but at 33, that gap feels like a reasonable price to pay for remaining the biggest media personality in an entire region. The Fenerbahce board are desperate to get this done. Before upcoming leadership elections, they need a statement moment, a massive headline, even if this transfer ends up freezing their wage structure for years. and Salah is still clinging to the idea of being part of big European football, which is exactly why he turned down the Saudi millions in favor of the Bosphorus. The logic isn't difficult. MLS and the Saudi Pro League pay more, but Istanbul still means status, European competition, and the kind of passionate support that doesn't know the meaning of squad rotation. Salah wants to believe he's still among the elite. But here's the truth. When your agent starts seriously discussing projects in Turkey, it usually means the big clubs have stopped picking up the phone. At Anfield, the magic has gone, replaced by cold statistics and the hard reality of age. His output has dropped sharply, whether the legs have started to betray him or whether the new system has simply written him out of the picture. A painful end to a decade of Premier League dominance. A man who once made the world's best defenders genuinely frightened now just wants to negotiate the most comfortable exit package he can get from a Turkish boardroom. The era of the great pharaoh ends not with a Wembley triumph, but in a stuffy Istanbul office. But our era? Ours is just getting started. If you've watched this far, and you do it video after video, and you're still not subscribed, come on, who are we kidding? Sign a long-term deal with this channel. Hit subscribe and smash the bell so you don't miss the next one. I promise no transfers to Turkey on this end. See you next time.